One of the major figures of the interim government is General Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Now, he's the defense minister and head of the army. This was the moment he entered history, there we go, overthrowing the democratically elected leader Mohamed Morsi on the 3rd of July. Well, supporters of the deposed president held sit-ins for the next 7 weeks. On July 24th, he gave a forceful speech warning the protesters to go home. The protesters refused to accept the appointed interim president and al-Sisi's roadmap for democracy. On August the 14th, he gave the orders to clear 2 anti-coup protest camps in Cairo. What followed was the bloodiest civil unrest in modern Egyptian history. Al-Sisi positioned himself as a strongman, but anti-coup protesters say he's weakened Egypt forever. Let's bring in Tarek Radwan. He's from the Atlantic Council think tank based in Washington, D.C. Good to have you with us. First of all, if we could talk about, if we could call it, the evolution of General Sisi. On July the 3rd there, he came in saying how he reluctantly had to intervene in politics and was handing over to civilians. Only a few days ago, we heard him speaking in a very different tone, saying he was leaving the door open to the other side, thanking foreign countries for their support, critical of others. Is there a change here in the sort of public role and image he's portraying?
Well, General Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is certainly one of the more charismatic personalities that's emerged in this time. The ouster of President Mohamed Morsi has largely been portrayed as a protection against civil war, and there's certainly a cult of personality surrounding the general right now. I think his most recent speech opening opening politics to all groups and such is a little disingenuous when you consider that there are considerations of banning religious groups and certainly the decapitation of the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. But it's certainly coming out forth that General Sisi is the man to watch.
Yeah, what does he want then? I mean, does he really want to take the army back to the barracks? Will we see, what kind of Egypt will we see emerge?
Well, I think part of what we're seeing here is a protection of the army's interests and its reputation in the Egyptian street. I mean, this has been true since he even took over from General Tantawi after President Morsi's declaration last year in August, I believe. General Sisi is very concerned with maintaining law and order, and I think this is the norm. This is the framework that he's setting up for Egypt in the coming future. We can see this from how he's handled the security protests, and I think that the Rab'a and Nahda protests, and I think that we can see that this will continue to be the case in setting up a security framework for the transition going forward, which, in my personal belief, I think is very dangerous.
Well, what does that mean, a security framework for the transition going forward?
Well, it means that we can see that the constitutional amendments that are being suggested under General Sisi's leadership maintains this strong central government. It does nothing to redress the imbalances and gives the president a lot of power. The way the security forces have been resurgent, we've seen that expand slightly to journalists and even to some activists, and it's really only a matter of time before it reaches certain other political dissidents. And so but at the same time, there's a lot of popularity among the Egyptian people for someone who is capable of maintaining law and order. And so I think he's setting up Egypt to once again fall under a very similar framework to what we saw under the Mubarak regime.
Do you think Sisi wants the presidency for himself?
Well, this has been the million-dollar question. General Sisi has been seen in civilian clothing. He's certainly denied it repeatedly in the press, but that's as worth the same as other politicians denying running for the presidency. I think that It's not simply General Sisi's decision, though. I do think that this would be a decision that the military as an institution would make, but he certainly has the popularity, he has the charisma, and he has the strategic mind to succeed, and many Egyptians today would certainly support him.
All right, thanks so much for your thoughts on that, Tarek Radwan.